In today's episode, we're going to be checking out the Create mod, and I'm so excited because I absolutely love this mod. We're also going to check out putting together a building for the Create mod to store all of our things. So, without further ado, let's get going. Today is the day. Today is the day that we get to play with the Create mod, and I'm just really excited. This mod is amazing. Look at this. Oh, look at all this stuff. Things that are moving, things that are spinning. It's just a really, really amazing mod, just with great visuals and really fun implementations of things. So I really like it. This doesn't really do anything. The water spins this wheel and it turns some gears and spins this flywheel that I found in that pirate ship vault. And then there's this hand crank thing that if I try to twist it, it breaks. I've played with the Create mod a lot. I know how this mod works pretty well, I feel like. So I can go ahead and I can show you a little bit of what we have here, and we can talk about it a little bit. But then I want to jump into building a building because I got a plan for a building here, and we'll talk about that shortly here. But first, let's take a look at what we have here. Let's take a look at everything. So what's happening? The Create mod is focused almost entirely around what's called kinetic energy, and kinetic energy is basically energy that's made through movement in this. So right here, we can see our first sign of some kinetic energy. There's water. It flows over a water wheel, pushes the water wheel, spinning it. That kinetic energy flows through the water wheel, and then that passes it into this large cog. And I'll turn on the display at the top so you can see what everything is when I hover over it. So we got a large cog, and then that large cog, I can put it into a smaller cog. And then that smaller cog spins as well, and then that connects to a big cog again, and then into a smaller one. Now, what I'm utilizing here is a form of a gear ratio. So when I take the big cog and I spin it into a smaller cog, it speeds it up a little. So then when I take that small cog, I pump it into this big one here. It stays the same speed, but then I'm doing that same thing again where I take the big one, I put it into a small one, and it speeds up. You can see that this spot is spinning faster than the water wheel, than the initial water wheel. So that's a little way we can speed things up. We can do some gear ratio tricks and things. That's cool. The Create mod is absolutely crazy because all these spinning things, you can see there's this flywheel moving, the hand crank's moving. I can hook up all sorts of different blocks as well. There's mechanical bearings and things that'll let me spin entire sections of blocks and move things. And there's rope pulleys, which lets you almost make elevators and crazy things like that. But the Create mod has a built-in feature as well that will show us how some of this stuff works. So let's take a look at the water wheel. I'll show you how it works by what the Create mod says. So look at this. We got this gorgeous little visual here that explains that water wheels draw power. The more faces that are powered by the water, faster it moves. The blades should be oriented against the flow. It shows you if you rotate it, it slows it down a bit. So you want the water pushing into the blades the other direction. Just fantastic. The Create mod has tons of those accessible in the escape menu here. You can see these little goggles on the left side. You click on that and you go ponder index, and it shows you all the different categories. So I could look at kinetic blocks, and I could look at the cog wheels. It'll show me here that cog wheels can spin each other, and it shows how the blocks can interact with each other, like gear shifting. So this is a little bit what I was talking. Large and small cogs can be connected diagonally. Shifting from large to small cogs, the conveyed speed will be doubled. So, okay, it shows the little rotations per minute there. And if you flip it, it slows it down. There's lots of cool things, but this mod is really complex. There's lots to it. There's lots and lots you can do. So I'm really excited to get going here. The Create mod's also going to allow us to make a lot of automatic farms, and that's going to be really handy with the vault altar and getting items for it. So look at this. Right here, it shows us we can use like mechanical harvesters, so kind of like a combine harvester on a moving contraption that spins around, and it'll harvest the wheat and then store it in the chest, and then we can pull the wheat out of the chest, and it's an automatic farm. It's amazing, and it's a really, really great visual farm. It very aesthetic. Like, it looks good. Not necessarily this one here, but you can make them look good. I've seen clips of people making like full-blown combine harvesters in the Create mod that move along a track and harvest all their crops, and there's tons of things we can do. But to do all this, we're going to need some infrastructure. We need our own little Create laboratory, I think. Some sort of place where we can house some of our Create tools. There's a lot of different tools that you kind of need in Create. There's going to be like mechanical mixers and mechanical presses And I need saw blades and these pokey things with the brass hands. And I want our power generation to use create and iron generators. But to do that, I'm going to need some of these tanks and things, which I need copper sheets for. And copper sheets, I need a mechanical press to pound copper ingots into copper sheets. To run the mechanical press, we need some power, which we do already have this water wheel here, but I want to step it up a little bit. I want maybe a few of these in line, almost like a turbine engine. We need a place to put things. I want something more permanent than just this little stone platform here. Now, lucky for us, I already drafted up a design of what I think this create building's kind of going to look like, at least the start, maybe a bit of a skeleton for it. And I made a create mod schematic. Within the create mod, there's this item called the Schematic Cannon. And the Schematic Cannon, what that does is it lets us almost have a schematic for a building, and it will place it all block by block for us so that we don't have to build it and memorize it. Basically, what I did is I designed the building in a creative testing world, and I think we're gonna pump it into this world with the Schematic Cannon. So I'm gonna make this, and I'm gonna make the schematic table because I also need that, and I'll show you those in a moment. Schematic Cannon. Okay, the Schematic Cannon. Let's check some of this out. So I can place this down, and look at this thing. A little cannon. Looks amazing. Very, very cute. But if we open up the UI, there's a lot going on here. Now, basically, what this thing takes is it takes in a schematic. You put in the schematic of the thing you want to build, and you've decided where you want to build it. And then it also requires gunpowder. So you have to put gunpowder in it to fuel it. The Schematic Cannon is very cool because it requires blocks to build the thing, obviously, and it just detects blocks that are in chests directly next to it. So you put chests next to it, you fill it up with the items that you'll need, and then it can just pull from those chests. But let's take a look here. Let's test out some of this stuff. So I made up a schematic and quill. And what the schematic and quill does is you can already see it's got this blue highlighter that I can trace around. What it'll let me do is I can pick the corners of a build, so I can mark that left corner, and then I can go to the opposite corner. Let's just test with our little house, and I can right click again. It says second position set. And then this schematic is kind of locked in, and I can, if I take it out of my hand, it disappears, pull it back, it shows it again. If you hold control, I think you can fine tune the size as well. You can like use the scroll, you can use the scroll wheel and push it in any direction. But let's say I take that schematic. I think, yeah, I right click in the air, and it asks me for a name, so I'll just name this like starter hut. And then I can save that schematic, and it says save this schematic. So now, if I go into my schematic table and take an empty schematic, I can select this starter hut, and you can write it to the schematic. And maybe, yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just do it to show you. I can write it to my starter hut. And then now if I hold the schematic, it shows me a box, and I can place it in the world, and it makes this kind of shadowed image of it. Now that the position is set, if I were to put this into my schematic cannon, it tells me it's out of gunpowder, but the schematic cannon knows that there's a schematic there that it wants me to build. I won't do it for this, but if I also hold, what is it? If I hold control, I think I can change the things, and if I hold control while doing this, I can move the axes around of the schematic just to fine tune where I want it to be. Now I'm going to go set up the schematic for our create base, and we'll talk a little bit more about the schematic cannon then. Okay, I have the schematic down, but I don't want to spoil it. I want you guys to take a look at it when we've got most of it down. For now, we're going to get the schematic cannon going. It tells me we're out of gunpowder, but well, that's okay. We'll deal with that in a second. I did forget to bring gunpowder, but let's put a book and quill in the corner. Maybe I can't yet. Place books here to print a checklist. Do I need regular book? Oh, okay. It can just be a regular book. I thought it had to be a book and quill. Put a book in there and you get a material checklist. The material checklist is amazing. This is one of the coolest parts about the schematic cannon. It shows you everything that you need. So I can go through this list. I can have it here. I can do it all. And then when you put it in the chest next to the schematic cannon, you can update the material checklist and it'll give you a check mark on the ones that you have complete. So that's super cool. So I'm going to go gather a bunch of these resources, and then we'll come back, we'll put it all together, and we'll check it out as it starts building. Out here gathering some resources for the build, and I found this like meteorite thing. I think this is from Applied Energistics. Yeah, Applied Energistics at the top. And usually what these would have is inside them they would have this sky stone chest. And I can't even interact with it. Oh, but I can just break it. The inscriber calculation press. Yeah, I think that's used to make, the circuits in applied energistics. But I don't think we're going to choose applied energistics. We're going to go for refined storage. But cool, nonetheless. Okay, I think I got pretty much everything that was important for this build. There's a few things in here that I don't think I need to add. I don't believe they're important, and they were kind of just temporary things in the build originally, so we'll ignore them. But you can see lots of these other things. They have the check mark, they have the green to show that I have them, and they're all just sitting in this chest here next to the schematic cannon. So let's get this thing set up and going. I need to add gunpowder, so I brought a stack, put it in, it's at 100%. There's 1,999 shots left. So with backup, which is the excess of the stack, there's almost 26,000, so I think that should be plenty. The cannon will replace solid blocks in its working area if the schematic contains any blocks at locations. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I want. And I want to skip missing blocks. If the cannon cannot find a required block for placement, it will continue at the next location. We'll do that because of those few blocks that I have that we're missing, and protect tile entities. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's get it started here. I think I can just hit go. And it might start. Play. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, look at this thing. So it's going to start laying out my schematic block by block in the real world here. So that's awesome. We're going to go up top. We're going to hop up top, and we'll watch from up here as it builds. Maybe get a nice little time lapse of it. So, but I got to first make sure I don't have any lights. Okay, well, we'll just watch. Oh man, I walk away from my computer while this is building, and I get launched off by a zombie. I didn't think they would spawn up here while I was up here. I'll light it up before we get back to it. Well, the 3D print is hot off the press here. Would you look at that? We got this kind of modern, futuristic, almost looking laboratory building here, and I'm really excited. I do like how it turned out. I have some issues with some things, but I don't know. I might tweak it over time, but look at this. We got this beautiful little lobby entrance area again, and we walk in and it's destroyed and empty. It's not done. I'm very much in the rough stages and rough phases of this one. It's mostly just the skeleton. I wanted to get some things laid out, but I have some really nice ideas. So you walk in, similar thing to the bank, is it's going to be kind of a little lobby area, and then past that there's going to be all sorts of tools and machinery, and we got this floor here, and I want to have like a step up. I want it to come up here and have maybe a second floor in this little main area. In here, you'll have a balcony. There's like a ledge, and then it runs along there, and there's like a lab floor. And this is where we're going to have our power generator. This is kind of the basis of it. So basically how the power generator is going to work is in Minecraft, there's the feature where you can create renewable lava now. So what you can do is you can have dripstone with lava above it, and it drips into the cauldron. And there's a low chance of the cauldron filling up with lava. So what we'll be able to do and abuse is we'll have a platform with dripstone. It'll drip lava into the cauldrons. And then those cauldrons, we're going to pump the lava out, and we're going to pump it into a tank. And then once we pump it into that tank, I can pump it from the tank into the iron generators. So if I go at iron generators, I want to get the diamond generators because they make like 64 RF per tick, which is enough for now for us. So we can make these and then pump the lava right into it, and that will provide power. And then we can provide that power to our refined storage controller. So that's kind of the game plan. But for now, we got to get all this set up. The print did pretty well. There's a few little blocks and things around up top that didn't place correctly just because they're like framed blocks and things, so I'll place some of those in. I'm going to get another rough layout of the floors in here, and then we can come back and look at more of the create mod stuff and maybe start getting that lava generator sorted. But before we do, let's take a quick look up top at what I have here. So I kind of went for this like industrial look up top. I wanted some pipes and some vent ducts and different things. And I also have these here. And you can see that it's got these weird looking blocks. And these are sail blocks from the Create mod. And sail blocks are used to make windmills, which also provide power, like that water wheel we looked at before. These will also provide power. But right now, there's nothing under these. They're just kind of decoration at the moment, because I need a windmill bearing to make this functional, and these are expensive. They take a POG, they take black chromatic steel, so for now they're just decorative. Maybe eventually we can have them generating just a little bit of power. These on their own at this size don't make lots of power at all, but they're just gonna be kind of a neat way to add some movement to this build. Just like the fans will be spinning, so it'll look like industrial fans, like cleaning air, whatever. I don't know, but it'll be cool. What's this guy selling? Nothing good. There we go. Floors are worked out a little better. We kind of got some of the shape here to the lobby a bit more. Look at this. This nice, cool area. Feels very laboratory to me, science-y. It's going to be great. And then I added this little walkthrough that's going to walk through, and then we have kind of our big warehouse-style laboratory floor where we're going to have some more Create machinery in here. We're going to have the lava generation. And then there's a staircase up with that balcony that we talked about. So it's looking very good. It's coming along. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this today because there's still lots to do to the shell of the building. So I want to get started. I want to play around with the Create mod a little bit. First things first, I need that water mill turbine I was talking about. I think we'll probably put it along this wall facing this way. We'll have like a turbine of water mills. So let's get some water mills made up, and we'll take a look at putting that together. The water wheels aren't crazy expensive, but they do require chromatic steel, and they're going to be really beneficial. So I want to make about 8 of them. I have 1 already. If I want 7 more, I need 14 more chromatic steel. So let's grab all that. 5, 6, 7, and I need 1 more water bucket. There we go, 8 water wheels. Now back at the Create lab here, I have dug out a little pit in the ground that will fill with our turbines. So there's a couple things about these water wheels. Like we talked about before, the water has to flow on one side of it. So if I take this and put the water here, let's block it off. No, what is happening? There we go. Okay. So in this case, the water's flowing on what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides of the water wheel, which is good. That's pretty good. That's almost as fast as it goes. But luckily, there is a hidden way to get it to go even faster. And I think what it takes is I think you just put soul sand in this bottom corner, and then that hits all of the sides. I think what's actually only important is that the 4 kind of cardinal directions are being hit with water. So in this way, what we'll do here is gonna let us hit all 4 sides. I'll try to, I guess I can show it off with glass. If I put water in this corner, and then that is already spinning it. So the bubble column can push. The bubble column that the soul sand creates pushes the water wheel. So now if I put water in that top corner, and it's hitting all 4 sides as it flows. I think maybe we'd maybe have to block this, but I don't know. But I'm going to do this for all 8 water wheels all the way across, and that'll give us kind of the maximum speed of all of them. So they're already starting to spin just with that row. Let's add in the final row here. Oh, you can waterlog those pipes apparently. There we go. And now it's going. Look at that. Okay. Now that we have all these water wheels, we need some sort of connection point. So just down here is where it's going to have to connect. I think I can break this. Yeah, we have to connect something up to the water wheel to get our power out. And the perfect thing for that is going to be a gearbox, specifically the vertical gearbox, which lets you translate rotational speed through one block and kind of change the direction 90 degrees. So we need to make one of these. Going to be 4 cogs and an andesite casing. So to make andesite casings, we need a few more of these andesite alloys. I'm going to make just a little bit, and it's decently expensive. Chromatic iron for every 2. But then, here's where it gets expensive. The andesite casing requires us to take a chromatic iron block, place it down, and then use one of these andesite alloys, which means we're basically using, what, like 9.5 chromatic iron per andesite alloy here, or andesite casing, sorry. And these are used in tons of the Create mod things. So that's pretty expensive. But usually, I would say that these are just worth it. The tools that Create's going to be able to provide us is just worth it with this, so. And then cogs, I need to make shafts, and shafts are andesite alloy, or 2 andesite alloy and an extra chromatic iron, which means you're looking at like 2 chromatic iron per shaft. So I'm going to need a few of these. We'll make some. And then to make the cog wheels, it's just a shaft plus Larimar. And we have tons of Larimar. I have like 400, so plenty. All right, now that we have our vertical gearbox, we can hook it in there, and it starts to spin. You see it spinning that way, so I can pull that power out using shafts. What I'll do for now is I'm going to put a gearbox here. I don't know where I want the power to output to yet, so we'll put another gearbox here just so that we can go in most directions with it. We can branch power upwards, out to the sides, whatever. But for now, that'll get us covered. The first thing, I guess, is we're going to get some of that lava placed right now so that we can start getting lava into the cauldrons. The sooner the better, because it does just take some time for it to fill up. Okay, so I can begin. I'm going to use dripstone. I don't think it has to be dripstone. I think you can really place anything here. But dripstone is just going to look nice because it goes with the spikes that they have to put underneath. So we put these, we place the layer there, and then we put pointed dripstone here. And then up top, I'm going to put these to anchor our chains. And we'll fill in the area around with glass for now, because we are going to have to put a layer of lava. And the glass at least lets us see that nicely. And I don't have any lava. Well, aha. That should be enough for the moment. I can go grab more after to speed it up, but that'll start dripping it. How do I get up here to look? You can see the little pointed dripstones. They have kind of little lava particles beating out. That means that they can produce lava into these cauldrons now. I think each pointed dripstone has a pretty low chance of creating the lava in the cauldron below. On average, it creates lava underneath about every 19 minutes or so, which we have 25 cauldrons here. So we're looking at roughly 1 lava every 45 seconds when this is filled up, which is a really good amount of lava. And hey, wait, why do these... Oh, that's weird. Some of them are getting water in them? Why is that? Is that because I don't have it fully filled out with water? Or fully filled out with lava? What? That's so strange. Oh, you know what? I know why. It's because there's no roof. There was no roof before. So the cauldrons could have filled with water when it was raining. So we'll just break them and replace them here now that the lava's all there. The next thing I need is this mechanical press. The mechanical press is going to be how I acquire copper sheets. What I'll do with it is I'll take copper and you throw it into... Oh, my magnet's on. Demonstration. You'll throw it. And the copper press is gonna go, or the mechanical press, sorry, is gonna go bam, bam, bam. And it's gonna hit the ingots and turn them into sheets. It's gonna be great. But I need to make another andesite casing. Oh, it's so expensive. Just like that. Perfect. Mechanical press. I wonder if this would be a good spot, actually. So I know I had originally talked about making a walkway across outside that gets us into the Create lab, but what if I just made like an access tunnel here, like a maintenance tunnel that goes across? That might be easier, because then it's right to our storage system. I want to make a mechanical press, but I don't want to have to constantly throw things under it. So let's make a little setup here. What we're gonna do, and you'll kind of see how I'll explain how it works as we go, but I just got to lay some of it out. First off, I want my thing rotating the opposite direction to this. So for now, I'm just going to use another gearbox. Kind of expensive, but worthwhile, because it changes the rotation when it goes through. It flips it. You'll see if I look at this one's rotating counterclockwise, and this side is also rotating counterclockwise, which means they're rotating the opposite direction. So let's flip it, and I want it to go clockwise, and then I'm going to add a shaft. And then I want to add another shaft, maybe, I don't know, maybe about here. Then what I can do is I can take this mechanical belt, and I can connect it to the shaft, and you see it draws this little line. I can connect it to the next shaft, and look at that. We get a little conveyor belt that kind of moves, and it pulls across, which is fantastic, really amazing. Next up, I can take my mechanical press, and I can just click on the belt, and it places it right above. But now we need to hook this up, and I think the easiest way is just going to be with more belts here, and I'm out of shafts. Okay, we can take the shaft, and we take a belt, and we hook it up. And now this is spinning, which is good. It means it's working. So what I can do now is I can take my copper, make sure my magnet's off. I can take copper, and I can throw it on the conveyor belt. It goes along. The hammer comes down, smacks it, and sends it on its way. And I can do that I can just keep throwing them on here. That's amazing, and that starts getting me my copper sheets. But this isn't ideal because it keeps throwing the sheets elsewhere. So what I want is I want a way to pick them up at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a barrel here, and then I'm going to take an andesite funnel. These are pretty easy to make. They're just the andesite alloy and some dried kelp. And I can put it on the side of this barrel. And you saw that one got kind of picked up. So if I throw some more copper sheets on here, or some copper ingots, they'll get turned into sheets, and they get pumped right into our barrel here, which is fantastic. So that's good. I'm sick of having to throw them on myself. So we're going to do this same thing, but on the opposite side. And we're going to hook one up here. And then I think I can just put copper in here. I don't want to put that much. But I put copper in the barrel, and now it pipes it out. Look at that. It's pumping it all the way out. Comes along. Hammer comes down. Smushes it into a sheet, and then it goes right into the chest. And we're getting copper sheets just like I need. Amazing. Now maybe I don't want to see this bottom belt. I think it's ugly. So if I take another andesite casing, I can click on the belts and cover it all up. And it doesn't even consume the andesite casing just because it's cosmetic. Isn't that cool? Does it work on the vertical ones? Oh, it does. Look at it. You can put it kind of like between. That's cool. Look at that. Would you look at that? Automation starting. This is our very first automated thing. We can put sheets in, or we can put ingots in. They become sheets. So now I need to make fluid tanks, fluid pipes, and all sorts of things here. And that's what those copper sheets and copper ingots come in handy. So I'm going to make some of those, and we'll talk about what's going next. Now you can see that some of our lava has started to fill up, which is very, very awesome. We're starting to get some that's going into here. That brings us to the next step in my crazy power generation plan. I went ahead and I made some fluid pipes and a mechanical pump. Very easy, just copper and copper sheets, and the mechanical pump was just a pipe with a cogwheel. So what I can do now is all of these cauldrons, I'll hook them up with the fluid pipe. We'll hook every single one of them up, and we'll clean these out. And then I can place my pump at the bottom, and it's facing the wrong way, so we'll need to rotate that, which means I need to make a wrench, but we'll come back to that. But basically, now what this is going to do is I will run pipes along here. Those pipes are going to run along here, and we'll build a big fluid tank that the lava is going to get pumped out of the cauldrons into the tank. And then from that tank, we can start pulling it into our generators. But I got to make a wrench first. To make the wrench, I'm going to need gold sheets. Good thing I just made the hammer machine. Look at that. Gold sheets on demand. Amazing. And right now, everything moves kind of slow. We can worry about speeding that up later. It's just because the initial speed output from these water wheels isn't super fast, but I could use the gear ratios to speed it up. I could make a rotation speed controller to change the speed. There's lots of different ways we can handle that, but for now, this is okay. I don't really need anything faster at the moment. I make the wrench. Look at that. I got my own little monkey wrench. Now I can flip my pipe around. If I right click on the fluid pipes, it puts a little window on them, which is kind of nice because it means I'll be able to see the lava as it pumps out. There we go. Some more fluid tanks. So now, I don't really, where do I want to put it? Kind of want to put the fluid tank up against this wall. Have the big fluid tank right there. I have enough sheets to make more. Fluid tank. Okay, there we go. We kind of got it started. There we go, a big fluid tank. And then I want to pump this into the tank. Now, everything's kind of set up. But what I do need is I need a way to spin this pump, which means I have to connect it up to our power over there. And I need cogs and things to do that. Let's see. We'll kind of figure it out as we go. What's going to be the best way for us to do this? I kind of want it hidden. So maybe I can run... Can I run a belt? I guess what we're going to do, while not being super ideal, is we are just going to use belts to get the speed over there. But we'll run it under this for the moment. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out a better solution later. But for now, we'll stick with this. Oh. Rotate the shaft. There we go. And we can turn our magnet back on. Hook that up. Like that. Oh, wait. No, I'm silly. It can't be like that. It has to be here. Oh, here. This is cheaper. Okay, we're going to do a few gears. We're going to gear like that. And then, do I have that andesite casing? Yes. We can cover that. Nice. So the gear goes into the floor. And then we're gonna run another belt here. Here. Wait. Does that not connect? Oh, there we go. Okay, you have to kind of redo it. So then, same thing on this side. We'll put another, we'll do 2 gears. And then that. Connect it up with a belt. Okay, and that spins. And then now we have rotation on this side. And then we can just fill all of this in. I can put that there and build the tank back out. There we go. Okay, it looks kind of cool. It at least moves and things. And so now that's rotating. I have to get this connected up to that. So I would need a gear there. And then, I don't know. I could just do it with probably a couple more gears and then a gearbox, honestly. Okay, we can make another gearbox and then change it to a vertical gearbox. And then we'll just hook it up that way. And then cog. There we go. Under pressure. Now, oh, it looks like it's starting to pull it already. Let's see. There's lava coming out. Okay, so we got lava in the cauldrons. That's good. And there it is. Look at it. It's starting to pump through. And then it'll start to fill up our tank here. Look at that. Oh, it starts to light up. We know it's got lava in it now. Awesome. And if I break one of these pipes, I think I can make the lava pour on the... Oh, no. Okay. Okay, you can make it pour on the ground just by using the pipes. That's really cool. Now that we got lava flowing in there, I want to make this tank bigger. I want it to be like 4 or 5 tall, just a huge tank. So I've been making some copper sheets. How many more do I have? I only have 10 more. Oh my gosh. Oh. Fantastic. You hit in the middle and it builds it all the way up and it uses all the blocks. Awesome. There's another thing in the create mod that I'm going to want, and that is engineer's goggles. So if I put these on... Oh, you can't right click to just quick swap them. Okay, let's put these on. First of all, I look amazing. That's great. But second of all, look at this. If I look at things, it tells me 160 SU at current speed. And things just tell me things. I look at the water wheels. They're generating 320 SU each. Now, this is where I wanted to see, is I wanted to see that our tank has 7,790 millibuckets of lava in it, which is almost 8 buckets. Fantastic. That's producing lots of lava really quickly. Now, the reason we're going to use lava for the iron generators here is because, one, this is renewable. Lava is just going to come into here infinitely. It'll just keep making it for free. I don't have to worry about anything, and it just keeps pumping in. Secondly, those diamond generators, they generate 64 RF per tick, I believe. And when you put 1 bucket of lava in it, it runs for 999 seconds, which is tons and tons of power for 1 bucket of lava. And that 999 seconds, in that time, if we assume we're averaging, what, like 45 seconds for everything of lava, that means, what, 999? I think that means in 999 seconds we we could get like roughly 20 buckets of lava in that span of time. Obviously that's not going to be the case, but around there. And so we're just going to end up getting more and more lava, which means with this alone, we could be running multiple diamond generators. I could have maybe 3 or 4 or something all running and generating like 256 RF per tick total between the 4 of them, and then have that power our stuff. So it's going to be really, really powerful. Obviously, I don't have iron generators yet, so we're not there, but this is really, really good development to our infrastructure, and it just brings us one step of the way closer. Let's supersize the tank. I think that's probably good enough. It's huge now. It's got this gorgeous little window in it so we can see how much lava's in there. And it can hold 360 buckets of lava, which is tons of lava. There we go. Well, unfortunately, that is all I have time for today. We got a lot done. Look at this. Look what we got. We got this whole building set up. We got some lava starting to flow in through our generator. We got our very first create machinery. We got a little turbine that flows with all the water wheels, and then those water wheels are powering a mechanical press so that we can start punching things. We got a lot done. Unfortunately, though, yeah, that's all I have time for. It took too long to get all that going, to get that building sorted. So next time, I want to look at making crushing wheels, because the crushing wheels from Create are really handy. They'll let us double or... Hey, what is this? Hey, wait. How do I get in? What Hello? Please? Oh, no. How am I going to get my own vault? Maybe the button? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll see you guys next time.